I'm Jamie Platt and I'm the lighting designer.
I'm Matt Powell and I'm the video designer. I was brought in after you guys had done a version at Charing Cross, and it was a really collaborative process of bringing video in to work very symbiotically and very connected with the set design and making very specific choices to really allow the imagination to grow and grow and grow and give a sense of kind of magic and kind of touched in colour, magical sort of landscapes to really take us further and further into her world and imagination. So it's been a lot of fun finding the balance between the realism of the location she visits or the realism of the journeys and the feelings that she's having to the artistic expression of that, and using atmosphere to respond to what's happening in the moments and all of that.
Yeah, and lighting does the same. It's very much a response and a tracking of Annie's world. You know, she's a storyteller, that's what she does, and we follow that journey. And as she becomes more creative with her storytelling, as she manipulates the set and uses props and magic, the lighting expands colour-wise, we expand in the sort of angles that we use, up to a point where, you know, the scenery completely expands and reveals a whole new space, and we are able to use a completely different approach to the lighting language. And then when it sort of gets beyond her, when the memories are starting to overwhelm Annie, we strip back the colour and we pull back, and it's suddenly a world that Annie has no control over the storytelling language in.
So a lot of the media style at the time was very kind of touched in colour imagery and fairly pencil drawn and things like that. Photography felt very emerging. Film was on the brink of existing, but not in its fullest, most form at that point. So what I drew from initially was this wealth of archive of drawings and postcards and imagery that had this kind of watercolour grain to it, and then we've applied that throughout the journey, starting with quite a pencil-y black and white newspaper print feel that then eventually grows into these more realised, somewhat animated natures that blend real nature and sort of drawn aspects to kind of create these picture postcards that have come to life, particularly when the set opens up and we're all of a sudden in, you know, the Egypt and the hillsides and all of that. We're creating this sort of a very romantic picture of these locations and then have fun inverting that as the world starts to collapse a little bit around.
The language of lighting is sort of reflective of Annie's storytelling, and the journey that she goes on with Martha in the world. So we start quite real. We sort of hint at colour. In the first couple of numbers we go slightly blue and then slightly orange, and then as Annie's telling more of the story we just expand that and we grow. And so by sort of the midpoint in the show we're in deep blues and we're in pinks and oranges, and it's just sort of expanding with her, and then it collapses down and then we go back again into our lovely finale.